Now, brothers and sisters, I hope you understand that what this means is that no human being, because again, Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 4, before I ever formed you in the womb, I knew you. That means that nobody here is a mistake, is an accident, is a surprise, or is inconvenient. God has planned a mighty long time for every human being that's ever been conceived. And I know that there are some mysterious things why children are sometimes conceived in difficult situations. That's a mystery caught up in God. It's none of our business. Even in the cases of rape and incest, still, God has always known that child, loved that child. Every single human being, none of us is a mistake or an accident. And you see, brothers and sisters, since God is knitting us together, He knit us together in our mother's womb, do you understand that abortion snatches the knitting out of God's hand? And it doesn't just say no to life, it says no to God. Now that's not a good thing to say no to God, amen? Now, I want to get practical with you a little bit in the latter part of this homily. Because you know, we're here to celebrate life. And again, I am so glad for your joy. In fact, God saved me from sour-faced saints. Looked like they just sucked a lemon all day long, you know? I hope that you understand that your joy is the greatest evidence that Jesus rose from the dead. That joy is the ongoing state of a Christian who's met Jesus Christ. Joy should be the way people see you and understand you. What a joy. God save us from sour-faced saints. Amen? Don't let yourself be among the frozen chosen, all right? Just have some joy, even when we're dealing with a serious topic like the tragedy of abortion and the tragedy of all sins against life. Just remember that joy is always, always our path. But you know, here we are to celebrate, but I want to just quote to you from an old African-American spiritual. And it simply says this, that some go to church for to sing and shout. Before 6 months, they's all turned out. Some go to church for to sing and shout. For 6 months, they's all turned out. In other words, it's one thing to come today, and I'm glad you're here, and we've got joy, and we're celebrating life. But where will you be tomorrow? Where will you be next week and 6 months from now? And as you grow older, where will you be? Will you still be celebrating life? Will you still be announcing the grace and the favor of God? In the reading today, we were told to choose life. And so, we ought to choose life. But you know, the big choice for life has to be accompanied by lots of daily choices and lots of things that we do in the smaller things of life as well. So I want to ask you to think about 4 things. I want to ask you to think about chastity. I want you to think about charity, about courage, and about constancy. First of all, chastity. Statistics from the government and other agencies say that 85% of abortions are performed on unmarried women. They are performed on single or unmarried women. Now think about that. That means that the primary cause of abortion is that men and women are not being chaste. Now, to be chaste means that we do not have sexual relations until we're married. And there's no exceptions to that. And so it is that one of the most primary ways that every one of us in this Verizon Center today, that every one of us can do to begin to turn back the tide of abortion is to begin to live more chastely. Now, I pray every one of you are chaste today. And I pray, though, that you will help your brothers and sisters to understand how important it is to remain chaste, to remain pure, to refrain from any sexual union until marriage. Because, brothers and sisters, it means that we're going to turn back a lot of abortions. 85% of abortions are performed on single women, unmarried women. So to be chaste means that you're going to wait until you're married to have sex. Now I need an amen. You're going to wait until you're married to have sex. Amen? It means that you're going to dress modestly, that you're going to act modestly, and that you're going to prudently avoid situations that might cause you temptation. I need another amen. It also means you're going to encourage your friends. Talk to your friends. Now, they may push back and call you old-fashioned and call you names, but I just want you to say, I'm a holy, holy child of God. Thank God I've been redeemed. I'm wonderfully, fearfully made. Don't worry about what somebody says. You just encourage and draw your friends to live more chastely. 85% of abortions are rooted in that problem in our culture. Chastity, virginity is beautiful. Chastity is beautiful. And that's just not for the young people here, it's for all the older folks too. Chastity. I also want to ask you to come to charity. You know, another statistic about abortion is that 42% of abortions are performed on women beneath the poverty line. Poverty is a huge factor in abortion. You see, we have to begin to reach out to women in crisis. An awful lot of women lack financial resources. Sometimes the men in their life are far away, or they have sometimes their families are in crisis. Some others are not only in a financial crisis, but some are in a crisis of fear and of all the consequences of being pregnant. They don't think they have options. And so we have to reach out to help women and families in this situation. Those who are poor, and those who are in crisis, and those who are struggling. We have to reach out. And we do in the church. Every now and then I hear criticisms. You say no abortion, but you don't help. Yes, we do. Someone say, yes, we do. Yes, we have crisis pregnancy centers. In this diocese, we have Project Gabriel. We also have Project Rachel. We have Catholic Charities. We want to help women and families in crisis to bring their children to birth. If adoption's an option, that's a good thing. We can try to help with that. But whatever we can do to help women, we do it, and we will continue to do it. But we need you young people to begin to step up as you get older and realize that poverty and crisis are a big part of abortion. We've got to help women know they don't walk alone. Are you praying with me?
Yeah.
So chastity and charity, and next comes courage. Courage. You know, another sad statistic about abortion is that 90% of families, you know, a lot of people have prenatal testing now. And there's a place for that, and there's some advantages. There's a great tragedy associated with that 90% of families who receive word that their baby may have Down syndrome or other defects and disabilities, almost 90% of them choose to abort that child. That's huge. Did you hear that? 90%. It's scary to hear that your baby may not be perfect. It's frightening. And we as a church are beginning to realize we've really got to reach out to families in this situation. I want to ask you to pray that God will give you a deep love and a respect for the disabled. You know, the disabled bring us incredible gifts, and they bring out incredible gifts in us. My own sister was disabled. She died over 20 years ago. And I want you to know, she brought incredible gifts, and she taught me lessons I'll never forget, and she helped open up my heart to love others. And one day, I'll have to go up close to the throne of God to see her because of what she suffered. But she loved God, and she went home to God, and I know that she's praying for me. Brothers and sisters, learn and ask God for the ability and the capacity to love the disabled, to love those who have struggled, to learn from them. They are God's gifts to us. Now that needs an amen too. Finally, I want to just say, chastity, charity, courage, and constancy. You know, I was reading a Gallup poll that said last year that we're making some progress. It said now that 61% of Americans believe that abortion should be illegal in most circumstances. Now that's progress. That's progress. We got a long way to go, but you see, we've come a long way, and our godly struggle to win the hearts and the minds of Americans is working little by little. It's a long and an uphill journey, but we are going to get there. We are going to win the hearts and the minds of everyone in this country. And the other thing about that statistic is that young people are more likely to be pro-life than the baby boomers. We're making progress, church. Will you pray? But I want you to pledge to be constant. Again, some go to church for to sing and shout, but before 6 months, they've all turned out. Will you keep marching? Will you keep walking? Will you commit yourself to be chaste? Will you commit yourself to charity? Will you commit yourself to courage in dealing with the disabled and loving them? And will you commit yourself to constancy, to keep on marching and walking? Again, Dr. Martin Luther King said that we must come to see that human progress never rolls in on the wheels of inevitability. It only comes through the tireless efforts and the persistent work of those willing to be co-workers with God. That's us, church. Co-workers with God. In the gospel today, Thomas said, I can't figure you out, Jesus. You say you're going somewhere. We don't even have any idea where you're going. And some of us today may say, God, why have you allowed abortion? Why is it taking so long? You know what Jesus just said to Thomas? Listen, Thomas, follow me. Just follow me. Are you willing to follow Jesus? We're going to walk uphill today. We're going to walk up a hill toward Capitol Hill, but it's the Lord who leads us. An old gospel song just says, walk together, children, don't you get weary. Oh, there's a great camp meeting in the Promised Land. And we're heading to that Promised Land, that abortion is no longer in this land. We're heading for that Promised Land that people love and respect life from the moment of conception all the way through to natural death. We're walking to that Promised Land, and we're getting there. Another song says we're marching in the light of God. Oh, we're marching in the light of God. It just keeps saying we're marching and marching. I hope you're going to sing going up the hill today. Walk together, children. Don't you get weary. I hope you're singing we're marching in the light of God. Now, I'm going to ask you to finish this homily. I want to preface what I'm about to ask you to do. We are in a sports arena. And there's a lot of cheers that go up in this building. And it's about basketballs going up and down here. It's about hockey pucks. And there's also some concerts that go on in here. And you know, when they make the shot, the cheer goes up all around. But I want you to know something. That basketball is just a bag full of air. Come on, let's be honest. It's a bag full of air. I love sports. But let's be clear, there are more important things than sports. And I just wanted to be on record that the loudest cheer that ever went up in this building, they may have decibel meters to register. I don't know if they do, but I wanted to be on record that the loudest cheer that ever went up in this building was not for a bag full of air or a hockey puck or a rock star, but that the loudest cheer that ever went up in this building is about praising God and thanking Him for the gift of life. So you're going to finish this homily. Get to your feet now. Come on, get to your feet and thank God for the gift.
Monsignor, that was a great homily and an even greater conclusion. Thank you.